It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Should I start with Obiajulu today? She has been gone for a whole month. Obiajulu in the building! Your fans have missed you. Where is BC? Where is Obiajulu? She's here.
I missed you guys.
All sorts of conspiracy theory. They've sent her away. They've removed her.
Are you kidding? I was getting DMs as well. Every day I would have to respond to DMs. People are asking questions. Have you left? Did they drive you? Where are you? What are you doing? I said, I'm coming back. I just had to shoot my series. I'm done now, and I'm back to work. So.
Oh, you look so gorgeous. Look at you.
Thank you. And I'm working on my weight too.
Ah, it's already showing. Your face is slimmer.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have
nice.
to. I have to.
She was enjoying the game.
Having a great
was
cutting my knees.
No, it wasn't about her husband. Because I had noticed she was gaining weight and I mentioned to her. She was like, nobody wants to remain small like me.
Exactly.
Like, me small. So now that you want to be small.
Okay, the shoot was very intense.
One season you did, how many seasons?
No, I did 3 seasons.
Oh
yes, it was intense. In fact, one of us nearly fainted at the end. Was bleeding from, it was really intense, you know, but I'm grateful to God we're able to accomplish everything. We didn't have a spillover. We had to throw a party. And the actors, this one is packed. We had a lot of guest actors, known faces that came to support, and it was, I can't wait for you guys to see the magic we created.
Fantastic. Well done, well done.
Nice.
How are you doing, Nima? Your brooch is really pretty. Your first time wearing it, I've not seen this.
No, I wore it. It's from Miami. So I have a
from Miami?
The styles. It's Miami.
Oh. He said Miami. I'm thinking it's Miami.
So she sends brooches with my dresses.
Oh, nice. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Gorgeous. Wake in the building. Anything happening?
Good morning again. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
First time we're seeing this year.
Yes.
Happy to have you back.
Thank
now
you.
I can go back to my 2 days.
No, you have to walk. We have to be together.
Let's not disclose on air.
Now me happy pass. Now me happy pass say she don't come back.
You can't go.
Come back, Jerry.
You can't go.
We cannot.
Thank you.
We're not releasing you.
I need you. I need your fire. Let's create some magic here.
Anything happening, YK?
Anything happening? I know. I just saw inside the Sun. There is a magazine in the Sun for the governor of Enugu State. He's showing the work he has done and the work he has not done, the one he has finished and the one he hasn't finished. And I'm wondering, that colored
Paper.
why are you not using that money to cuckoo finish the project that you have not finished?
You can't compare the cost of color. Please.
Tokpe has been a Mayfield lead. I forgot that disaster.
So even I have been a Mayfield. So
let me to talk about something they'll do your, because your own is also very hot.
That orange bank is only me.
So Tokpe was a Mayfield lead because she traveled. You know, many of you know she's a real estate person, so she needed some people to for them to clear her land. So usually they have these guys they call and they give them about maybe about 300K. Her manager takes about 300K and gives them 10,000 each for the weekend to clear the land. Unfortunately, there was no cash.
Hey,
she couldn't get cash.
300,000 naira cash.
They was looking for 300,000 naira to give these guys, but they couldn't find money to clear. Now, she has lost him. She missed her deadline because she wanted to clear by this weekend. Unfortunately, she couldn't do that, so she has been a Mayfield lead.
we have all been a Mayfield lead.
In fact, yesterday I had to borrow 100 naira from an orange seller yesterday. I saw humility before my eyes. I took a bike to the shopping mall. I paid, with my card. I was debited twice. By that, my orange bank again. They didn't reverse it.
There's only one orange bank in this.
It's them, it's them. They know themselves. They know my name. It's fully on their. If they know, they should just check my data
and refund the money. Simple.
So the shopping people say they cannot give me goods. We now stood there before the blue bank bailed me out. And then I was able to leave. Because I tried to do.
There are plenty of blue banks.
There are plenty. So the blue bank that has my name, they will know that they bailed me out. But so listen, we did transfers. Transfers failed twice. POS transaction on my card failed twice. And I was debited for them. Wow. Emefiele did not help out. He's not even enforcing his 48 hours reversal order. As a CBN governor. He gave the order that banks don't refund within 48 hours.
There's a lot of
fines
right now.
But this one preceded this one that is just put on ground. They should be enforcing it.
So I don't have my products, my fruits, I can't make them because there's no cash to get into the market to buy them. So anybody who is looking for pineapple chips, now you have to wait till we find
pay Mama
cash.
pineapple for the transfer.
They don't collect. They need
market.
cash. Yes, in the market, open market.
So, all right, so at least, before we just criticize Emefiele. I'm happy that he has taken our feedback. He's talking to us. He spoke yesterday. Hopefully it was because this is important. The next 10 days, I think they want to close it in February 10th. We should be hearing updates. So according to Emefiele, we'll get the updates from him in the newspapers today, what he has done so far. So I'm happy that he's listening at least. So if you have been Emefiele, stay tuned to know what is happening and see how you can get your cash. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. Emefiele, banks to blame for scarcity of new Naira notes. Tinubu promises prosperity in Cross River, end to erosions in Anambra. NNPCL investing 2.6 trillion naira on 70 roads. Nigeria improves in TI's latest corruption perception index. That's Transparency International, I believe. Absence of sick child stalls Ekwerimado's trial. And Nigeria needs a thinker, not a tinker. All right, which story are we going with?
I'll go with the major
headline, please.
Yeah, banks are to blame. So I have a problem with a leader having to pass the buck. So tell us what you have done and how you intend to resolve the situation. So according to the Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele, he said yesterday that the banks have not complied with directives that he had given them on how they can phase out the old notes and get the new notes. And he said that they had given banks amount of money to install in their ATM machines so that at least an individual will not withdraw more than 20,000 per transaction. But what they realized is the fact that the banks were now handing the notes to individuals who were using them to spray at parties, and they didn't have any money put in those ATM machines. I saw viral video of some banks that people were struggling to even get. Nothing is in the ATM machines. So that's on one hand. He also said that Nigerians should not be afraid, that no matter how long it takes, even after February 10, which is supposed to be the deadline of phasing out the old notes, you can take your old notes to the bank for as long as they are able to phase out the old notes. Once it's your money, just go to the bank, they will change it for you. So I would want him to go a step further and take more responsibility. You know how much you gave to these banks, and now they don't have money in their ATM. Shouldn't you be sanctioning somebody? Somebody has to, pay for what is happening right now so that every other bank sits up and people are able to get the money.
Absolutely. So
let me take the NNPCL story.
Yes.
So the NNPCL will be investing 2.6 trillion on 70 roads in total. If you see the picture in the Nation, the Minister for Works, the representative of the GMG CEO of the NNPCL, Umar Ajiya, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service boss, Mr. Mohammed Nami, were at this press briefing where it was announced, and that the NNPC will start with their first phase of about 621 billion, which will be invested in about
70 roads.
70 roads in total, but the first phase will be covering about, I'm trying to get the number of kilometers of road that will be
1,000 kilometers.
1,000 kilometers, and then the second phase will be 4,000 kilometers of road, which will be about 1.96 trillion in the second phase. Totally, the Minister for Works emphasized that this administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has prioritized infrastructure as a way out of our economic downturn and to project growth, and that the quality of roads and roads that will stand over 50 years from this. When you look at this arrangement, also the Federal Inland Revenue Service is involved, so the taxes that the NNPC are paying is what will be utilized. They've also gone through to look for financing through Sukuk and all other measures of financing that they have been pushing towards. So this is great news.
All right, let me take Asiwaju's visit to Anambra. It was very funny because he was in Anambra State. And let me quote him. He was saying in campaigning, he's a flag bearer for the APC, and he was claiming that he is not like Peter in the Bible, who denied Christ 3 times. That the same Peter that led this state that he's in. He was in Anambra speaking with confidence. Like, here in your opposition state, and you're speaking with such confidence. That the same Peter that led in this state would deny you all the promises he has promised you. That I tamed Atlantic Ocean. So for those of you that know the long-standing erosion issues in Anambra, that he who has tamed the Atlantic Ocean by having a full plan to handle the erosion menace that happened in Lagos, and he will do the same also in Anambra. He also pledged to work with the governor, that's Governor Soludo, to become, when he becomes president. He said that he wants to make Anambra a memorable, productive state in memory of his friend, Chuba Okadigbo. Many of you know Chuba Okadigbo. I'm here he also to publicize the promise of developments he has made, and that he's known that all that he's the Lagos boy, the city boy, and he's coming to come and help to fix Anambra. It was just interesting that he was. I didn't even think he was going to go to the southeast or certain east, but he's been there for a while and he's been campaigning there, and there's been quite a bit of crowd to support him there. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Any other story in the nation?
Absence of Ekweri Madu's daughter in at the court case, you know, she was unable to make it. She's in hospital for an unspecified condition, and her lawyers have also submitted a psychological report claiming she's not even fit to stand trial, because it's her mother and her father that are up for trial in the so they've postponed the trial. They didn't say what date.
Okay. The Punch, new Naira racketeering, EFCC to raid Lagos, Kaduna, Port Harcourt currency hawkers. Start with parties. Protest as Ekweri Madu's wife appear in UK court. LP governorship candidates orders boycott Obi's Yola rally. One killed as tanker crushes 3 Lagos tricycles. How 100 bandits ambushed killed 7 NSCDC personnel and director. NNPC ADAX end 24 production sharing contract. And fuel scarcity threatens election and national security, says INEC and CDS. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let me just take the major headline. So the EFCC, they arrested members of a syndicate of currency racketeers in trading in Wuse in Abuja. And so they've announced that they'll be moving to Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and raiding areas where they, in this new Naira arrangements, where they hear people are racketeering the new Naira and the new currencies printed. They say they planned this in the heels of similar raids that has happened by personnel of the DSS. So the DSS had earlier done theirs. They are also following suit to carry out this, to arrest people. But I hope that they don't just go and arrest those that are relieving others. Because some people are actually making money from it. It's become a black market arrangement.
Yeah, it has been.
It has become a black market arrangement. For 10,000, it's 1,000 Naira withdrawal now.
No, it's 3,000. No. For 10,000, it's 2,000 Naira you get. You get 13,000 Naira. Somebody went to the bank to get 10,000 Naira, you pay 13,000 Naira.
In the bank?
Not in the bank, no, in the... They're around the bank. Those guys selling around the outside the bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of tough situation. I think they should raid those ones.
Yeah.
Because
somebody in the bank is giving them the money.
Yes. But you know, I think you have to go to the top. Look for the top ones.
The ones that carried it in Ghana must go.
The one, not, you know, because even this money selling, it's a syndicate.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a huge...
It's a small boys who catch.
Yeah. When you're catching discourse, those ones don't even know who the organs are. True. You know, go and look for the DSS, do your work. Go and look for the organs.
I even like that they said in the story that they know that they're working with people within the banks. So I hope that as they're cashing them, they're cashing bank.
Okay, let's take another...
Okay, please, just wanted to take one.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. I had a story or something.
Yeah, I was going to check the story of the tanker driver that killed at least one tricycle operator. You know, he had been descending from a slopey road, you know, and this is in the Kotun area, near the synagogue. And at the bottom of the road, the tricycles make a U-turn there. But his brake failed.
Oh, yeah. And right on.
He just went right into them. They managed to remove some of the people, including a pregnant lady who was taken unconscious to the hospital. But one person died. You know, the driver has been arrested. They said when he was coming that he was not speeding. So nobody thought there was danger. They didn't know his brakes.
So it's the truck owner that we need to find out, because they don't do proper maintenance. Yes,
because they're not maintaining.
But there's a side of the...
Can you imagine if you had crashes because he was full of fuel.
Frankie, there's the side of the pedestrian. I know synagogue well, I know Ikotun well, that area. So when you're coming, it's not exactly a slope. It's just that, you know, the way the road was done is actually...
just goes in.
You'll be descending just before you go up again at the Ikotun roundabout. Keke drivers want to do a U-turn, and then they are dropping off passengers at the same time. We're all risking our lives. So they should have a park where they go and then they stop.
Would they listen?
They will not. Even when your car is coming, you have to wait. The traffic at that Ikotun roundabout is because of the way yellow buses and Keke drivers
we can't discuss this matter because we need to move on.
comport themselves
And then
there.
Yes,
Yes, quickly, just a short story. INEC is saying that it's less than 25 days until the general elections, and they are expressing concern over the fuel scarcity. So according to the chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, he said the fuel scarcity will likely affect the movement of election materials during this period. So they've been having meetings with the National Union of Road Transport Workers. They had a meeting on Tuesday, and meeting with even NNPC as well, just trying to see how they can resolve this issue before elections so that we don't have any excuse of people not being able to locate where they're supposed to vote in the polls.
Daily Sun, CBN will redeem old Naira notes beyond February 11, says Emefiele. Tinubu in Anambra promises to industrialize and address erosion challenges. Obi to universities gives students holiday to vote. Lekki Deep Ports turns new bride as landlocked countries dump Cotonou and Togo. Government stops pro-Tinubu Shetima solidarity rally in Niger over the security concern. Fifth columnist spreading fake news to destabilize elections, says federal government. Gates Foundation earmarks $35 million for Nigerian and African farmers. Rivers will punish PDP leadership, says Wike. And petrol scarcity may affect elections logistics, says INEC. All right, which story?
Let me quickly start with the Bill Amendment Gates Foundation, $35 million grants that is given to develop what's called a Cambridge University-led project on self-fertilizing crops for African farmers. So I don't know where some see Nigerian, but I read through the story. There was no specific African, they didn't specify which African countries they were looking at, but they said that this $35 million will cover an engineering nitrogen symbiosis for Africa research program for the next 5 years, which is, of course, to help African farmers do a self-fertilizing farming where it is green friendly and it is, you know, environmental and all of that. They shall cover that. It would be nice. But, you know, I would love that our own research students here look into that project and see whether it is environmentally friendly and that the product that will become, the foods that will be coming from that method of farming is safe for Africans because they are looking to fund Africa. But I don't know whether Nigeria will be amongst them, just African countries.
So the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, was saying yesterday that fifth columnists are working to concert and destabilize the elections that are coming up. According to him, he says that he can unequivocally say that there has been worrisome and astronomical increase in the use of fake news and disinformation making the rounds, and it's causing present danger to the success of the elections. He said that the increase is undoubtedly the work of some destabilizing agents like opposition, and their sole aim is to destabilize the electoral process and plunge the nation into crisis. But the government will not stand by and watch them, people who have data and phones, to destabilize the country. And he's therefore warning the purveyors of fake news and this information to desist from their acts, that the government will take action, and they have enough tools within their hands to actually stop this menace. But he has said the word is enough for the wise, because this is getting really unbearable at this time.
And the government, the Niger State government, stopped the planned solidarity rally of the Tinubu Shetima 2023 support group at the new Busa local government area over security concerns. They said they had called this rally the Grand Lockdown Rally for the candidates, and as early as 7 a.m. yesterday, 3 Toyota Hilux vans filled with security, mobile military just came, shut down the venue, and stopped people from coming in. Stopped all the people that wanted to work, saying that there are security concerns and that the order came from above. But later the APC too said their own rally is somewhere else, and they disassociated themselves from the event.
The other one, okay. So the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, is urging Nigerian universities to give students a break to travel home to their destination so that they can, be able to participate in the February 25th and March 11 election. Said what happened was, because of their 8 months long strike, a lot of students had to register in their home time because most of them went back to their parents. But now that they have resumed with all the examinations that will be happening, it would be nice if, the universities would give them like 1 week break so that they can go home and, register and vote for the elections. And he also talked about the fact that he more like applauded INEC for extending the time to pick up the PVCs, and also urged Nigerians that if you have not picked up your PVC, this is the time to pick up the PVC, especially the young ones, because the future belongs to young people.
Yeah, he said at least 3.5 million of them had been disenfranchised or will be disenfranchised
if they are not,
allowed to vote.
Okay, the Nigerian Tribune, only CBN will accept old Naira notes after February deadline, says Emefiele. Kwakanso in Ibadan says, I'm open to restructuring. Police stopped planned APC rally in Niger State. Suspected herders killed DPO, 5 others in Benue. Many injured as PDP and APC supporters clash in Osun. Transcorp increases power generation to national grid. Election INEC makes requests for seamless fuel supply. Reps approve Buhari's request for restructuring. 22.7 trillion naira ways and means owed CBN. And Buhari's visit, Kano Stone Pelters, sponsored by politicians, terrorist sympathizers, says presidency. Okay, let me take Kwakanso. So the presidential candidate of the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Senator Rabi Kwakanso, has said that he's open to calls for restructuring the country, though he knows that there will be varied concepts, there are different definitions of restructuring. But Kwakanso has stated that, that he would ensure that restructuring is the front burner when he becomes president. He also said that they are doing all they can to ensure he's going to do everything to put back electricity and give Nigerians light. And he said that, I'm trying to see other things he said, but he was pretty much campaigning and he was ensuring that, telling Nigerian people what he would do if he becomes president of the country. Okay, what other stories we have in Tribune?
In Ife, in Osun State, the People's Democratic Party and the APC, All Progressive Congress, had a settle with machetes, axes, some had guns.
Wow.
At least 10 people were hacked with machetes, and the clash lasted 2 hours.
Jeez.
But in the same story, they said that the state police command acted promptly.
After 2 hours.
After 2 hours. It's the same story. So I read it. Hey, it's 2 hours prompt.
After 2 hours, please.
Okay, so much English.
Okay.
Promptly is promptly.
Okay, tell me now that 2 hours is prompt. Then I will just keep
After
quiet.
2 hours,
English is not our first language. Why can't please calm
It's
down?
not our first language. As soon as they hear it,
Yeah, God bless. As soon as they hear it, 2 hours they go. As soon as they hear it. Hey, okay.
Yeah.
Which other story are we taking in Tribune?
Gunmen suspected to be herders have killed the divisional police officer DPO of Naka Division in Benue State, identified as Mahmoud Abubakar, a superintendent of police, and 5 others in Gwe local government area. According to the story, it said the DPO was ambushed on Makudi Naka Road at about 3:30 p.m. on Tuesday. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Wale Abbas, confirmed the death, and they said the DPO was actually ambushed and killed. And afterwards, I think on Sunday, 4 other people were also ambushed and killed in the same location. So investigations are ongoing to find out exactly what happened. They said they told them that the DPO was alone in the vehicle, so they are not sure if there were other policemen who accompanied him who may have been killed or survived.
Okay, any other stories in Vanguard? Let's move to Vanguard. Elections, logistics in danger with fuel scarcity. PVC's Obi insists that 3 million Nigerian students must vote and meets the EU observer when he was talking to the EU observers. FG cracks down on petrol marketers' orders and to smuggling. APC-PD clash over plots to disrupt Tinubu Shetima rally in Osun. Catholic bishops to federal government save Nigerians from wanton killings, looting, and kidnappings. Naira redesign, no Nigeria will lose money, says Emefiele. Thank you for that assurance. And Osun Governorship Tribunal judgment, opponents of the Beavers out to discredit, he says, Igini. And the Labour Party governorship candidate, LP candidate, others boycott Obi's Yola rally. Who still has any story in Vanguard?
Okay, so again, a lawyer and former rec with INEC in Akwa Ibom was interviewed on the beavers discrepancy, the way people are hearing about the beavers being compromisable after the electoral petition, tribunal conclusion in Osun State. He says that the beavers is still as credible. In fact, that tribunal just only showed the credibility of beavers. That beavers continues to upload as they are collecting and accrediting voters, and that it remains the only reliable source of how voters that were accredited voted. Because even if the result shows different, as long as the result from beavers is not conflicting with that result, or as long as it is even conflicting, beavers remains the superseding legitimate source of accrediting of results. Yeah. So if, just as in Osun State, as they're saying, some voting took place after or outside accredited voting, beavers remains the only source because it's a system that uploads its own result when the rec is busy with other things and continues to accredit only voters within the records of INEC. And it's only continue to expand on that as a way forward for us to look. It says we should not lose faith in the beaver system in the coming general elections. That's
all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we'll start with a hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before we do our hot topic, we have to celebrate World Hijab Day. It's a day observed every year on February 1st to honor Muslim women who wear the hijab. It's also a day to urge women of various origins and beliefs to try on the hijab and see what it is like to wear it. Joining us on the show today is the Women Affairs Secretary of the Lagos Secretariat Community Central Mosque, Mrs. Ramotalai Lawal Ajayi. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you.
Welcome. Good to have you on the show. So it's World Hijab Day today. Why do you think it was necessary to have a day to celebrate hijab?
Yes. Thank you very much for having me. I'm so delighted to be here. Well, it becomes very necessary to set a day aside, not as a celebration, but as a commemoration on the usage of the hijab. Just as an awareness and a sensitization. If we look at history, nakedness is a distinctive feature of pre-civilization. So, adorning clothing is a form of progression. It is a progression. It is not in any way to oppress the Muslim women. So we want to spread the awareness and the sensitization that the hijab is not adorned to oppress the Muslim women, but rather it is a way of following the commandments of the Creator as He has stated it in the book.
Okay, so help me understand, maybe some viewers out there, the significance of wearing the hijab. Because I know I have a colleague here who wears the hijab. When I see any other person who is Muslim and doesn't wear the hijab, I look at them differently. Like,
they're not serious Muslims.
Yes. Does it have anything to do with spirituality? What's the significance, and why is it different from Muslims who do not wear the hijab?
Well, the significance is one, as an obedience to the Creator. A Muslim woman who adorns the hijab is following the injunctions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in our journeys, even in life, we have the different levels by which we understand some things. And even apart from
I have
understanding...
to let you break for a second. I'm told that they're having issues with your mic and we want our viewers to hear you. It's going to break right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So I'm going to go back to Bis's question about the significance, especially because some Muslims don't wear it, others wear it. And you know, when you see them, you're thinking, is it that this one doesn't obey? This one obeys. What exactly? So what's the significance of the hijab compared to the others?
Well, for me, I believe it's a personal struggle. Some people on their journey of the hijab, they are still in the process of learning. And you know, when you learn a thing, sometimes it takes time. It depends on your level of practicalizing what you have learned. So it's a personal struggle.
Okay.
Significance, as she mentioned, we're going to talk about it as a matter of faith.
Yes. Is in obedience to commandments of Allah. When you look at Quran 24, verse 31, Allah told the Prophet that if you tell his wives, his daughters, and the believing women that they should adorn the outer covering so that they will be recognized and they will not be molested. And Allah is oft forgiving, merciful. So it is a direct commandment from him. If we look at another portion of the Quran, in Quran 7, verse 26, he said he has given mankind clothing so as to cover them as an ornament. And then Allah said, the best of clothing is the clothing of righteousness. So you see, the two has to go together.
Right.
When you are done the hijab, you have to follow it with good deeds, with righteousness.
I've seen different hijabs. There's the one that they will just put a scarf over, just cover their head loosely, put a scarf over their shoulder. Then there's your own kind. Then there's the third kind that will cover. So is it
different levels?
Different levels, no, not different, like promotion. So maybe the ones that cover are the ones that cover final promotion.
Yes, we can still refer to
So
it.
you mean you are still going to cover yourself?
Still learning.
In the
future?
coming years.
Like Nima is still going to cover her nose in future.
We'll not see her again. No.
It's still a personal struggle. You know, when you know better, you do better. That's the way I see it.
So that's the ultimate of achievement, to cover all the way to the eyes. That's what you want to help out here?
The women of the prophet, as the wives of the prophet, were made to cover. But that injunction does not. The real instruction is for women to cover up their adornments. So that's the general one that everybody must adhere to. But they took it a step further, and so you see some people with the niqab. Right. So when you're Ali Sunnah, you want to go further, you know that you can, get to that point. It doesn't make it sinful when you don't go to that point.
Let me ask.
I grew up seeing my grandmas like that. Both of my grandmothers never traveled with their face.
Did you see them regularly?
When they're indoors, beautiful skin indoors. Okay. But when they are traveling, they wear the
whole thing. Yes. Let me ask you about the struggles of a hijab, because many people see them, assume that, it's easy. They wake up every morning, just wear their hijab. Just give us an idea, a picture of what a hijabi goes through, especially why it was so necessary to win the judgment that they did in the courts when we're having issues with should they wear it in schools or not. So give us an idea of the struggles they go through per day.
Well, the struggle is real and it still continues. Though we are often in Allah, and we know that as abiding citizens of this country, as law-abiding, we have to go through it in the rightful and lawful way. We don't have to go violent or any protest way. So we go through it and the interesting thing is that the Lagos State government has even done a very good job that we are using this medium to thank the Lagos State government for backing the court judgment with a circular that upholding the rights of a Muslim girl to use the hijab. So the struggle is real. And we are hopeful in Allah that things will get better.
Okay, so aside the struggle, the Lagos State, since you're the representative of the Lagos Secretariat Muslim community, the Lagos State recently have given an executive order so that all schools will start to enforce. But let's talk about the enforcement, because as the hijab rights advocate, I'm aware of the struggle. I have lived through the struggle until recent years, and I'm still aware of people's feedback on the struggles within schools. So there are still biases against the hijabs within Lagos State schools. How far is the Lagos State themselves, how far are they going in enforcing and making examples of their staff in the schools against hijab students?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I know the state is trying its best to uphold that right, because we have some schools that fall victim to such. And when the case comes to the hearing of the state, they take it up and do the needful. They are not being biased in that sense. So they do the needful promptly and appropriately.
All right, so I mean, it's World Hijab Day. Is there any particular theme for this year's celebration, or is there something we're trying to achieve with this year's celebration exactly?
Yes, the theme for this year is progression, not oppression. So when you are done the hijab, you are being progressive. You are not regressive. And it shows that a Muslim under the hijab is not being oppressed to use the hijab. It is out of our personal conviction in obeying our Creator.
I even see that as honoring the Muslim woman. It's such as an honor to wear it. It's a sign of honoring. But I guess it goes back to what she was asking, that so the ones that don't wear it, we shouldn't judge them, but just say they are still work in progress towards this. The achievement is to get to that point where how the prophet's wives used to look. But still, everybody's a work in progress. Even in Christianity, we're all working. We're not yet to Jews yet. We're not yet. We're all work in progress.
Let me just quickly ask daily lives. I see the hijab as a practical means of appearance. It means that once I've done the hijab, I can go out, I can fly, I can be on TV, I can do every other thing that I want to do, unlike if I wasn't wearing the hijab. How do you see daily, pursuing a career? How do you thrive? How do you see your pursuit of happiness with the hijab?
Yes, the hijab is not a limitation to the height of achievement of a Muslim woman. Because just like in your studio, we have my sister right here. She's a seasoned lawyer. We have medical doctors. We have engineers. We have architects. Just name it. So the hijab is not in any way a limitation to our pursuits, our achievements, and otherwise.
All right, that's all we can take on this segment. Thank you so much, Mrs. Ramotalai Lawalajai. I mean, I wish you the best, and we just hope that as we take out this day to celebrate hijabites, we also understand and appreciate the struggles they go through and encourage them. So those of us that don't wear hijab, when you see them smile, let them don't make them feel they're different. They're just like us. It's important to have these days to remember that
Nima is more than like us. She's us.
Yes. So we're all the same, and just celebrate them. Wish them happy Hijabite Day today. If you see anybody any hijabite, say, I hear today is Hijab Day, World Hijab Day, celebrate them. Yeah. Oh, Nima wants you to try hijab, so try hijab. You never know. Easy. All right, that's all we can take on this. When we come back, we'll discuss the hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So our hot topic today is about sex for grades. So there was recently a picture or a post about a young lady who was alluding her success of graduation to God and her physical ability to offer her personal offerings. I don't know if I said that right.
Should we speak Pidgin?
No, say I'm for Pidgin.
Kwekus.
Okay. So offering her, that thank God and my Kwekus for her graduation. And of course, this post went viral. Now, I'm always very wary of looking at posts because I just never know which ones are true, which ones are not true, because you never know. Somebody could have just done that for the sake of following and likes. But even if that is the case, we're discussing the prevalence of sex for grades, especially in view of that we have convicted professors for the crime. I think a few have been arrested and convicted. I think cases have been concluded. We've also had people have been named and shamed. And you would think that sex for grades have reduced somewhat in universities, or that people would at least understand that it's not something we should be done at all or considered again. What are your thoughts on the fact that it seems there's still young ladies or still young men offering their privates for grades? What are your thoughts on this? You can call us on 0812-705-3687, 0913907698. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. And, you know, when you see the girls that post these kind of things, they're just young, pretty girls, and you're thinking they have their whole life ahead of them. You know, was it necessary to use their bodies to get grades?
I think a lot of women just feel, they just have this misconception that sleeping with a man is an easy way to make money. It's not an easy way to make money. For me, I would think it's difficult because you don't know the man, he might be smelly, he might have disease, you know. So I think we need to just enlighten them and say, look, this is not an easy way out. In fact, it's more difficult because your health is at risk. Women catch HIV faster than men, you know. So maybe we just need to help them change the narrative and make them understand that it's not an easy way to success.
So for me, I think we are losing shame every day. We are beginning to forget how to be ashamed. Yes. There were some things that back in the day, back in the day, even if you do it, you would dare not say it in public because you are ashamed. You know the action is wrong, but you had to do it for whatever reason or whatever excuse that you give. But you are ashamed to even say to a second ear, this is what I did to get this. So right now, everybody is seeking clout in a way that it's okay to just throw out. Trend. Yes, just do it and just say it. It doesn't matter. Own it. Do it with your chest. Forgetting that the internet never forgets. You are coming from a school where Nigerians particularly have an issue with polytechnics. They see them as substandard. You know, it's either you go to the university or you don't go at all. You are coming from that polytechnic and you're putting this kind of message out there. Why didn't you just thank God and go away? Did you have to tell us what you did? And I know that is not right. Whether you tell us or not, it's happening, and we're trying to see how we can help our children not get boxed up in this sense of I must use my body to get what I want. Get them to read, understand the courses, let them do what they love to do. When you do what you love to do, you don't need extras. Right. Because your body is genetically wired to do what you love. You would sit and read, you know. Just trying to see how we can phase out this sex for marks. And we had issues in different schools, universities, we talked on the show, how, you know, the lecturers have been penalized on this issue. You now bring it out to come and glorify God. Why are you glorifying God? Now you used your body. Why don't you just glorify the body?
In fact, God doesn't have anything to do with the matter. It was your choice. God didn't push you.
But you see, there's a part of this conversation that you say, this young lady is an adult. If I choose to do this to get marks, whose business is it? That's the world we're living in, where we're adults, we are responsible for our decisions. You might not agree with it, but we are getting more exposed and enlightened to the point where we don't owe anybody explanation. So that's why I took my own marks. So be it. Why are we so concerned about somebody else's?
Interesting.
But it's illegal.
If you put it like that, it makes her a bad representative of the school system.
Yes.
Because I don't know about Nikki deal. If Polytechnic, Federal Polytechnic, Nikki, I want to see what their Senate, what they call the one in Polytechnic, the Senate now.
See about it.
What they will be saying about it. Because what they are supposed to be pushing out are standards in education, not standards in Kwekusin and all of those nonsense that she was pushing out there. She is a bad representative and she should have a diploma withdrawn. she should not go further with the face, as a face of that university, with this post that she has done. That's the seriousness of it.
Well,
some people, I remember there was one course that I had one in. I read like, say, I want to die. When the result came and it was one, and I wanted to go and protest it on my way to law school, one lecturer now called me, that buffet waste time. They gave you one. You want to go and call for scripts. Be going to law school, and mind you, be going. And I thought, if they had given me that score that I thought I deserved in that exam, I probably would get a higher GPA that I was pushing for. But I left it and went to law school like that. So when you water down the seriousness of what education is here, you show your level of, I don't want to call her a dullard, but she's a very stupid girl.
For that video.
For that video, they didn't train that girl.
Not get sense.
You know, for you to be so crass, so uncouth, to talk anyhow on the live about such a thing. You're promoting it, young girls are watching and thinking, well, this work is tough. I don't have to do the work now, the stuff. And then you're giving this, because someone and myself watched it and it was like, no be polytechnic girls, that's how they are, they're so cheap. Even in workplaces, they're so cheap. You know,
that's not correct.
Yeah. That's not correct. Yeah. But she's doing that. So people who have suffered seriously.
Read a statement from the institution who have said it doesn't represent the standard of the institution. They said this is to inform the general program that the management of the Federal Polytechnic, Nikede Uiri, has begun full investigation into the identity of the student who gloated on TikTok about how she graduated with the help of her private parts. It is most blasphemous and unethical that the said student peddled the name of God in her delirious...
Yeah, delirious.
Delirious post.
Or, no, deleterious act. Management considers the action of the student as the most unacceptable and preposterous. So the school is totally against it.
Yeah.
And
you know that certificate they used to give to us, YK, they tell you that if you do anything that is against the standards of the school, it can be recalled.
Yes.
And when you get into the university, they usually do this orientation where they tell you the do's and the don'ts, how you're going to comport yourself. The fact that you went through the walls of the higher institution shows that you have gotten to a level of maturity. You should be able to conduct yourself properly, or else you will lose that hard work that you have put in.
That's if you put hard work.
That's my sister.
So let's go on a break, because I still want, we've addressed that video, that picture. But now let's address the real issues young girls are going through in
the
schools,
universities,
where their lecturers are demanding for sex. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing this matter, and we wanted to focus on what young girls go through, especially when their lecturers are demanding. We've discussed this, years back, and we've shared different stories, but it's always good to bring back these topics, because especially in private schools, yes, even though we have the case we're discussing is polytechnic, it happens in universities, and it happens in private universities too, although we expect that they will have more stringent measures, but the truth is that it happens across board. What are your thoughts on this? What can we do to curb this act, this immoral act that's happening in universities? Bisi, would like to go first.
Yeah, so I had people around me who witnessed this sort of abuse from lecturers back in the day when I was in the university. And probably because I was properly oriented before I got in. So I had this friend who had gone before me. He was a guy. We're neighbors. And he would gist me that, lecturers, you have to be very careful. Say you na babe. Hey, make sure that you read. You don't have any reason to go and beg them for any marks. You don't have any reason. So that there are two things that they do. It's either they collect money if you go beg them for marks, or they offer to, they want to sleep with you. So he gave me that orientation. And I knew at the back of my mind that I didn't have money to pay anybody. My allowance at the time was just about 8 to 10,000 naira for the whole month. That's after my provisions. And I had to eat and, you know, buy a few handouts at the time and all that. So I didn't have that kind of money to go and beg. That's one. Two, I don't like old men. They were mostly their shirt collars and smelly, those kind of things. They were not my spec. So I told myself, I will never fall into this trap. And what did I do as a student? I made sure that I studied for every examinations. And even when I was traveling all around the states for beauty pageants, I will go with my books. And in final year, one of the lecturers called me in front of the class. I will never forget his name. And he said, stand up, you. I know you now. Face of Delson. I have been following you up. So you want to graduate from this department, you will not know us. I said, Sabo, I know you. Say, keep quiet. You understand what I'm talking about? Really? Yes, in front of the whole class. You want to graduate from this without knowing us. I had to buy a ring in my 400 level and engaged myself just because I realized that when I was going for my project advisor was always looking at my chest. I said, I have escaped all through till this moment. It cannot happen. So I flaunted that I was engaged. My guy was even teasing me, you want me to forcefully engage you now, you know. But because I didn't have any reason to go and beg, oh, I didn't pass, so help me, I was able to stay away from their trap. So we need to teach young women to hold your own. Smart. Hold your own. And see, if you are good, you know your scores are good, you can always call for your scores when they decide to, because sometimes they can be, you know, mischievous, decide to give you wrong marks. You can call for your script. You will have a backing through the school authority. But you need to have that strong level. You need to hold your own in such a way that when you call for your scripts, you're not going to be seeing F, you're going to see A. That means you must work hard. Wow. That's one of the ways I was able to.
I mean, traumatic for you because you're young and having to know that you have to face
very young
this.
Yes, so.
It's just work hard. That is it. Don't rely on anything but your brain.
Yes.
And you see, because we Nigerians, we have entered this bad, whether it's corruption, I don't know whether to call it corruption, whether it's just a decadent way of living. I will never forget, when I was going on tour with the band, there was this girl, she was in Unilag, that was dancing with the band. And she just said, she was just talking that, can I imagine, she wasn't talking to me. I overheard, she was talking to another person. Can you imagine that they have just combated me that I'm on tour? They want to give me, this is the person that she gave to write her exam. It was normal.
Yeah, for people to write.
They have told her that the person that, they have covered her that the person that she gave to write her exam has, I was so shocked.
Why somebody writes
your exam? So, you were on top making money, you gave somebody to write your exam and you will graduate. I said, they're in their right to, you know, and I was not the enemy. They just looked at me.
You don't understand what happened.
Person. I was a wicked person because I could not understand what she was saying.
Yeah.
So we have agreed that this bad lifestyle
has to stop.
We have to. I have to mention the fact that the lawyer for this young lady. So I guess this really happened. You know, sometimes you say things didn't happen. So the lawyer said our client wanted to say Popsy, not the other one. So what's Popsy she meant?
Say the lawyer is just learning how to talk. Okay,
the lawyer says that.
Let's leave him. He wants to earn his money.
Care for Ogechi Sharon, our client, under the pro bono fee. It's a pro bonus. There's no payment. So they are saying that she wanted to say Popsy. So hey. Wow, we got this from, go ahead.
My experience was something different. Just as BC said, students who went to the lecturers, who thought it was right to earn their marks this way. Yeah. So it's not all the time lecturers are pursuing students. I've made friends with a lot of my lecturers, including the past VC of my school. And I was a safe girl, in fact, the safest in school. I got bailed out a lot of times from by the Dean Student Affairs then, late Dr. Sadiq, because I was always in trouble doing politics and all of that. And nobody thought that it was okay to ask me for sex or marks.
Lie.
And I had a few advances from people who wanted to marry me, not sex for marks. But I had friends, because I had finished my diploma and I had a break before I got in for degree. And we went for a party. Friends of mine who were in the same faculty already. they were talking about how they will go to the lecturers, how one of them will pay for all of them, and that, for the whole deal, it was 5 points. For the less deal, they were grading it with their bodies.
Wow.
And I was hearing that conversation, and I had not even gotten in for my degree. So girls also push for this thing.
Yeah.
I was surprised at the school system because not all lecturers are viable. That friend of mine didn't graduate from the same faculty of law in my school. By the time I was going for law school, she was still struggling within school. And, I had come in, she was 3 or 4 years older than I am. By the time I came in, she was supposed to be my senior at the bar. I am a senior at the bar. And I don't think she even made it to law school. So the school system is tight. It's not every lecturer that you can buy. This work is a serious work. And it also goes to training young ones. I've seen that, for her and a lot of other people I've mentored over the years, it's difficult to read the book. It's the book that is the work.
That's the problem.
So don't be like, it's difficult. I can't understand this thing.
Wow.
So now as a parent, I'm pushing my children to start to be able to read at primary level.
Yes, and
To
understand.
find the work normal. So it's okay to wake up at night and find your child over her books,
Yeah.
studying, so that you too, you can have mouth to defend. So even as a parent, your child is in university, you don't see your child reading. You don't go to school and see your child discussing exams and books. Instead, they're discussing makeup, they're discussing BBA, what's it called? BBN. They're discussing all of those things.
How is it passing? So you should start
You
to
should be
suspect.
asking the child, how are you making it in school? Are you a good representative of me as a parent? What matter goes far. Young girls, what this girl has done, she does not understand the damage of all that she has caused.
What area?
There are lots of girls who find assimilating difficult. Because, of course, we are learning in different languages. Sometimes you are in you've had a mistake of a course. You don't know your area of strength. You're struggling. Instead of somebody to be coming out and say, it was a struggle. If I knew better, maybe I should have done this course or that course, or found something that aligned with my passion or my habits or something. Talk about such a thing. Start to people find it okay. It's okay to fail. It's okay to resit exams.
Absolutely.
It's okay.
I failed French woefully in 100 level. As in badly.
But you see,
woefully.
These are
With
really,
my
I'm
2
happy
years
that
and
you guys
eyes on
are
it.
sharing your experiences, because sometimes we always assume that those who did it, sometimes they just disappear from the face of the earth because nobody really shares their stories. These are real life stories, and I'd like to get calls. Please call us in if you also have a story of where a student was pressuring you as a lecturer, asking you to give her marks for sex. Please call in. If you're students that your teacher also was putting you under pressure, please call in. Call the numbers on your screen: 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. We would like to really hear your story. Bisi, you're going to say something.
Yes, so this also goes back to the foundation of every child. We have students who their parents had bought special centers for them to write WAEC.
That's the damage.
Even from GSS2, I remember I failed GSS3, I failed mathematics, and my father insisted that I repeat. I cried for months because there were some of my friends that failed that their father had to go and pay, and they moved them to the next class. But he said he wasn't going to pay a dime. Sit down and study mathematics. And for the first time, my head opened to understand the formulas. There's a particular formula now that I will say in Yoruba language because it was taught to us using music. Almighty formula. Orore sumi minus b plus minus by square root b square minus 4ac all over 2a. If I have that formula down, I can solve that almighty formula. I learned it when I repeated. So what I'm trying to say is the experience of repeating opened my head that I can actually read and assimilate. Then when you get to SS3, you're graduated, everybody's rushing to get into the university. Parents are paying for special centers for them. They don't care. Just go there. Somebody will come and bring expos, and people are writing to pass. What do you expect when they get into the university?
Absolutely.
Because they have gotten the wrong foundation.
Absolutely.
From the beginning.
From the beginning. So they believe it's either I use money or I use my body.
Yeah.
So as parents now, we
are
need to
to
start.
blame.
Yes, we need to start paying attention. Sometimes we need to start paying attention to how our children learn. Once you can open the mind of your child to understand that I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. If you are a Christian or a Muslim, whatever it is, find a belief that I can do and let them sit down. Let them have reading time. I make sure that every day my kids read. When I hear, Mommy, I'm bored, go and get a book and read and come and tell me what you have read. So I'm also checking their comprehension. Yesterday, my daughter slept around 11 a.m. because she had exams today. I was begging her to go and sleep. She said, no, mommy, I must pass this physics. And she sat, they had Zoom meeting with her friends till 10 p.m. They were discussing. I was overhearing their conversation. I didn't have the foundation to read like that. I learned that as an adult. But I am happy that I'm helping my children. So that tomorrow nobody come and tell mommy, come and pay for special center. You will read and pass with your brain.
There was one experience.
And when your children are even having problems and they tell you, you get them teachers.
Yeah.
That will
to assist them. Ah, God bless my mom.
Tunde, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Students.
Hello, Tunde, you're live.
Good morning, Morayo.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
All the ladies there. Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah. Please, about this topic you are discussing, it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
Yes.
The way the ladies are dressing nowadays, it calls for alarm.
Tunde.
No.
Mr. Tunde, you are still in that space.
Be calming down.
You know, when I was in school, I graduated from Unilag. There was a lecturer, there's a lady that is not my girlfriend, but we are very close, we are classmates. That time, it's not a computer, they call it data processing. Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah. So that man came, the pass mark was 40, and this man gave me 39. That's data processing. So when I went to report that, excuse me, I passed my I did my exam very well. I think my mom gave me 39. Said, look, you are trying this girl. He said it's Yoruba. We are very soon. Let's say pass. I said, this girl is not my girlfriend.
Tunde, I can't hear you. Maybe somebody has to increase the
That kind of a
volume.
thing. After we say,
Somebody's sleeping.
and the guy didn't get for him. I have to, at the long run, the man gave me 40% pass mark. Then another thing again, the way the ladies dress that nowadays entice the lecturer. If you're exposing your chest, exposing your boobs, I don't know, I'm baffled. The private part nowadays. So it takes you to tango. Let me just put it that way. It's not the fault of the lecturer, and at the same time, it's the fault of the ladies. We should mind the way they dress in the campus. Dressing sexy entice lecturers. And there are some random lecturers too that I want to sleep with the lady before they can pass her.
Thank you,
So,
Tunde.
thank you very much.
Can you tell me what? I didn't hear what you said.
So they is blaming
The
dressing of
dressing.
women,
The women, okay.
of young students under lecturership, studentship with universities when they approach their lecturers. I wanted to quickly just address him that, students will come in any shape and form. I know Hijabites that lecturers offered that as a score mark.
Yeah.
But I know young girls who are from good homes, who found whatever course they were studying difficult.
Yeah.
And they went to the lecturers to ask for assistance, and he offered them that as an option. So too many examples that you cannot blame
on both
a
sides.
young girl's dressing for how this turns out.
But we
it's
have to
beyond
also,
dressing,
so
far beyond dressing.
I'm not one to blame dressing. But we must also realize that young girls will wear, they're in university, they have freedom. Many of them have never been allowed to wear miniskirts or cleavage tops in their entire life. So now they're in university, they are free. They will not wear anything. So the lecturer must be above board.
Exactly.
You must be.
That's why you're the
must
elder.
understand that because I am the one I'm pretending over these children, I know better. So there's nothing you're going to wear enticing me. Because
in fact, you can say, when the person comes before you as judges say, you say, you're in my face, get out. You can't stay in my office. Go and dress better when you want to see me. So if they are coming for a genuine reason, they know when they are going to see lecturer Dagbaja or Dagbaja. They will dress well, properly. And when they come in, they will speak well. They cannot approach you beyond the desk, so that they would address only what they come to address.
Exactly.
I heard from one of my lecturer's office all through school. He had a fridge in his office and had cold drinks. I took from that office till I graduated. And not once did this happen. Not once did it happen.
Mrs. Ladeji from Abuja, good morning, are you there?
Lecturer's cook.
And ladies, God bless you and bless your husband and bless your family.
Amen.
Auntie YK, God bless you and bless your family. You see, this question that we are talking about, I am an actual wife. Some of those girls are really hopeless. Sometimes my husband comes home with stories like that. I have to laugh and fall apart. There was a day I pretended I was a student like them. I went there and he came and I was talking to him. Then my husband told me, he was sitting down here. He didn't know that I was there. He said, even if she's naked inside this classroom, your mark is your mark. And you can call for your mark to be checked anytime you like. What I give you is what you deserve. Whether you are naked, whether I use you or I don't use you, go and read your book. You see, most of these girls, they don't have sense. They don't want to work hard.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there are no genuine cases. There are some genuine cases, which, you know, if you talk out, you can be dealt with and you will win the case. But in most of these cases, these children are not ready to work hard. Parents, your children will be in school for 5-6 years course. You don't know where the hostel is. You've never been there. You don't know what they are doing. When they are angel in the house, when they come to the school, they start wearing nonsense and rubbish. But if you are a controlled man, if you can control yourself, even if the girl comes naked to the class, that's not your business. She's not the blackboard that you are looking at.
Yeah.
So please, the matter is in so many ways.
Thank you, Mrs.
Children have
Ladeji.
their own. Few lectures.
Thank you, Mrs. Ladeji. So she's saying that her husband also was a lecturer.
Yes, and I want to address what Mrs. Ladeji said because it's really important. A lot of these girls do not want to work hard.
Yeah.
They want to blow. They want to put themselves on the whatever so that they be blowing.
Influencers.
We book help. We have to now. Let us even address that. You know, whatever you achieve in future is from your foundation that you will achieve it, not by. And you know, a lot of times, a lot of women also encourage it by. They do it, they show it, so they become mentors.
So blaming our mentors.
Yes, to these young girls. Okay, because that's what this woman did to. So we too, we have to talk to ourselves. Okay, look, it's a matter of working hard. Look, I am almost 62. I have to wake up at 4 a.m. to come to the studio. Yeah. When I'm waking up in the morning.
But did they pay you?
They pay me. This morning when my alarm blew, I said, no.
Oh, God. So there's this tweet I want us to take. This person is bringing some other information. Yeah. Okay. WIOVP Farms and Agro Venture says, I think you guys are missing the point. There's a lot of poverty in the land, and most of these girls have to sleep around to pay their way through school. For me, the lady may not have slept for marks, but slept around to fund her education. That is a serious issue that I did not even see when I saw.
That's
That's
a serious But see, it may not be a lecturer she's talking to. It might be other people who have funded her education. That's another angle. It's a topic for another day. So let our producers jot it down again. Maybe
he is asking BC, we older men are dirty. BC, how could you?
That's not what I said.
He an old man.
He has confirmed this.
I just want you got an old man is an old man. You're old, man, you know.
Just be clean if you're old. Okay.
Are you saying old men are dirty?
This says they are dirty also.
No, okay, they are wrinkled.
Continue.
They are wrinkled from
at the time.
They're not all wrinkled.
They're all wrinkled.
Theo is not wrinkled.
Who told you Theo is not wrinkled? To your eyes, it's not wrinkled.
It's not wrinkled.
Somebody else might be wrinkled.
Theo is not wrinkled.
No, young girls chasing.
Oh, really?
Thank you.
Their preference, like I said.
We have to wrap up.
Some of us like them young.
We have to wrap up. I said this is the issue that was raised by saying that the girl might not be referring to her lecturer. She may have been referring to the fact that
her sponsors,
different sponsors that are giving her money to school. So that's an issue that we must also bring, but it's not for today. We're going to have a conversation on that separately. But if indeed she was referring to her lecturer, the truth is that it's two ways. It takes two adults. There are two adults. You're an adult, at least you're 18 in the university. So your decision, therefore, should be to study legitimately to pass, not to collect money. Because whatever you get for free, trust me, it doesn't last long. It's a bad foundation to start with. And then it will also talk in the future.
And if it's indeed her sponsors from outside the university that helped her pay through the university.
What is she telling us?
Does she have to go on social media?
Yeah.
Like, social media, never forgets. It's there for life. It's not even like newspaper where you go use newspaper for a This one
is there.
Is there.
Okay, she got a diploma. She did not get sense. She got a diploma. She did not get sense.
Let's go on a break. We have a guest. We have to wrap up on this. But thank you, ladies. We have to just touch on that. When we come back, we'll bring in our guest for today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, thanks for staying with us. So we have our guest is an event management consultant with over 20 years of experience in events and business consulting and human resource management. She's the founder of Partiquette Event Services, a bespoke event management firm that has been operating for over a decade. She's one of the women we love, and she's popularly known as Miss Bo. Welcome with us, Bonike Thomas Ojo. Welcome to the show. And we love that you own an agency that helps to also scrutinize and check helps in the house, domestic helps in the house, which is great. It's something that we always need. But we love to bring women once in a while to our show that are doing great things, smart women who are innovative, start new stuff. And that's why it was important for us to bring you on the show. We're so glad that you joined us. And I don't know if you want you to tell your age to Nigeria because you look so gorgeous.
Yes, allow me for that age, I just heard now.
That you are not
blacks don't crack, baby.
She's closer to YK.
Do you mind? Or you'd rather not?
Just say like that.
So this gorgeous woman you're seeing is 54 years old.
Jesus,
54. She's hot.
Jeez.
And if you see her tummy, it is flattened. So there's a lot of questions we want to ask you. How did you become 54 years old in this body?
In this body.
In this body. Exactly.
Do you work out?
I walk.
Okay. Daily. Daily walks.
I try and walk daily.
Okay, that's all the workouts you do.
Okay, so I do a bit of exercise, but I'm not some exercise junkie.
Not like YK squatting.
So, I know, right?
I don't squat.
I
walk a lot too. I walk and I do walking exercises.
Because of time, let us start with your business. Tell us about what you do, how you started your consulting firm, and where you are today.
Okay, thank you again for having me, ladies. I think pretty much it started when, so I lived abroad for a long time, and then when I came back, one of the biggest things was my friends would start telling me, oh, Bo, don't. If you're going to hire somebody, be careful, check this, check that. And they would give me all these horror stories. I mean, I could tell you guys a few that would really scare you guys.
I'll tell you one later.
And so I was like, okay, so when these girls steal or they take your money, and there's been videos recently of housemates taking thousands of dollars and leaving maybe $100 for them. I'm like, okay, so what happens? And goes, I just chased them away. I'm like, so...
Who do you hold responsible?
Yeah, and what if she's working for me now?
Yeah.
What if she's working for my mom?
Yeah.
And it began to really worry me because I had little kids at the time. My kids were 10 and 7 at the time. And so I used to say, okay, so how do I protect myself from this? And nursing care or, care for your parents or even house helps are no longer a luxury. It's a necessity.
Yes, it is.
We're all, women here. We all either have a chef or a cook or a driver or a maid or somebody looking after our mother. So I thought this really is something as a community we need to emphasize.
Yes.
And we need to take care of.
Put a structure in place.
And put a structure because they, and I want to say they, know that they steal, you chase them away, that's it. They can go down the road. So the girl from Borno can come to Lagos and come and steal. I know that she's not going to be found. Yeah. We have no papers. We have no pictures. We have no reference point. We have nothing on them. So they just escape. And then they go work somewhere else.
You started a business because
of this, that's why I said, I think we need to do something where we kind of, not regulation, I don't want to call it a border regulation, but we need to have to care for the community. And so you can come, before you hire somebody, vet, do a medical background check, make sure she doesn't have HIV or hepatitis B or C, do everything you need to do, and then also do a background check on these women. Find out where they are. Are they who they say they are? Really? Are they part of a ring? And then do other precautions. Have a camera in your home if you have to. I have one where I can see what my house help is doing right now. And so that's why I started this business. We need to have someone where you can check, okay, I'm about to hire this person, my chef or my security guard. Is he wanted in another state for something?
But do we have that kind of data in Nigeria? You think that people just show up? You think if I Google somebody abroad, at least if you would go to a certain agency, they give you all the data on the person. But here, people beg them to go and do NIN. They won't do NIN. They don't have data. They don't have driver's license. They don't have BVN. So how do you find these people? How do you have the data?
So that's the thing. Again, I would tell people, I would beg most people, please, I know this is the month, January, February, when they've all gone for Christmas and they don't come back. And then we all start to panic because we have to go back to work. You ladies had to come here. If you had kids, who am I leaving my kids for?
Yeah.
And don't be in a rush. Just take the time. If somebody brings you somebody, I have one girl, I have one agent. There's always someone that has an agent. These agents don't check properly. They all say, yeah, we've checked. But you do the needful. So on my business, you can come and say, I have this girl, I want to do a medical check, I want to do a criminal background check. I have security agencies that will check them, even the ones, quote unquote, out of state, out of country. We know we have girls from Cotonou and Benue. We check as far as that. Their homes.
I know security check is a bit expensive here.
Yes.
Privately.
Yes.
Because I've had to do track and arrest with the police and I paid through. The clients knows because I defend it. So how do you collaborate with the police? How affordable are these checks that you have to do? And at the end of the day, how often do you get compliance with the girls when they have to be checked? Do they just submit themselves or do they object to it?
Okay, so what we do is we get information. So I work with a security agency. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names, but I work with a security agency who works with the immigration, is retired army officers, police, ND, and they work with all the organizations and they do these checks. So even recently, there was one incident on social media on Sunday where somebody popular put out there that she went, yes. And immediately I was reaching out. That, if you need the help, please. And I spoke to him and he goes, I'm just coming back from Ghana. If she has information, we can go and try and find out and see, but it has to be done quickly.
Yes.
Then does she have information, a picture, what's an address, what's their real name? These are all things we should vet and check before you let these strangers into your homes.
Their addresses in their villages.
Yes, we go and check those things out. So it's not that expensive. It's not that expensive. You can do this for 40, 50, depending on how advanced you want to check people's verify their certifications. I'm a chef. Did you really go to school? Or, I'm a PA. All staff, we can check them out. Because you're letting these people into your homes, into your lives, into your personal space. Look after your loved ones. And you don't know who they are.
I employed somebody at Christmas.
I could have told you that.
God. It's only God that helped me.
There you go.
Here, we have this New Year's Eve party. She drank 5 bottles of beer.
Back down.
Then she started to display. She displayed to January 1st.
No.
She's even liberty.
Then I now found out that she would go out and buy those small packets of alcohol.
Yes. They say it's herbs. They'll tell you it's herbs. It's alcohol.
Not even the one in the
proper one, the sachet.
The ones in the sachet.
No, the sachet
yes,
ones now.
those sachets. They'll tell you
You want
it's
to call
herbs.
name we are watching.
She will drink it. She will come
The
back.
ones that down for drivers drink all the time.
She fell down. She knocked her head. The display. Till January 2nd, I say, Auntie,
Come and be going. Wait, but do you think you attract your kind?
Are you stupid?
Online TV,
I'm just...
this is the way I can throw it back.
I'm not laughing. But see, I will tell you something, sis. She probably has an alcohol problem. We do those. We do drug checks, we do alcohol checks, we do all those
When I
things.
called the agent, he said it's not my fault. I said, are you
see?
stupid? It's not your fault. So is it my fault? He said, it's not my fault now.
He didn't
Come and carry. Okay.
I don't quench.
We have to go to a break because I want us to now focus on how you got here because we've heard about your agency, what you do. It's been nice to go in depth about you, how you manage work, family, and the whole work. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we know what you do, we know the kind of business you do, but we'd like to just know a bit more about yourself, how you started. Let me start with the questions.
Yeah. So I'm curious about your marriage. You have kids, right? You have, how old are they?
They're 20 and 24.
Yeah. So how did you navigate having to raise them and starting your own business? Did you always start out doing your business, or you had to work for some time? How were you able to balance, making sure that they were all right and pursuing your career?
Okay. So again, I lived abroad for a long time, and so got married abroad, lived abroad, and of course there it's actually even more difficult to get help. So I was a career woman. I was into IT at the time, computers, and then switched to. But I realized I had a love for what I do, which is event management, and I used to do that in the church I used to go to at the time. It was about 2,000 people person church, and I used to manage all the events at the time. And I remember my pastor said, "Well, you have a flair for this. You really should do this." And so I went to school for it. I went to George Washington for event management. So we have what is called a CSCP, which is I don't just do balloons, which is what event planners in Nigeria say. I'm an event planner, but it's balloons and flowers. I actually don't do that. I coordinate. I theme. I think about an event, create a mood board, do that. And so I realized that was my passion. And so from that, when something is your passion, for me, it's like, it's not work. You're getting paid to do what you love to do, what you do for free anyway. So it was easy managing that and my kids.
You had your own time. You were able to manage your own time.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So I left corporate with the corporate world, and I started to, do that back then. And so coming home, naturally, it was just so easy. So what you do is first you learn the terrain. I studied the terrain, consulted with some other companies, some of the other big event companies here, and then started my own business because I knew I wasn't. And again, it was a struggle. But in Nigeria, there's more resources for domestic help, and that again, that's when I got into that situation. But even when I was there, I actually took someone there. I used to have an au pair.
Was that a story? Was that an experience you had that made you start your own particular personal experience? Could you share with us?
Gosh. Yes, worse. So, I mean, if I go way back, I remember when I went to hire, and I just had this. So I have a background in human resources. And so because of that, it's a natural fit for me to interview. I interview well. I read between the lines of what you're saying. I look through resumes and I know there's a gap here. There's something going on here. Or when you're telling me your stories don't link, I can tell. And so I normally, with me, because of my background in human resources, I would interview them. And what they would say just, sometimes wouldn't. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to vet and check. It's the least I can do. I have kids. They're coming into my home. I remember this girl I brought in. And I said, okay, she came in with all her things. They always come with all their load. They're ready to stay, right?
Immediately.
And I'm like, no, you're going to go back and you're going to do a check. She goes, okay, no problem. So I go back in the house, I lock the door, and the agent, she comes with the agent, and she called me and said, Madam, sorry, we have to tell you, but she has hepatitis C.
Hey.
I'm like, okay. And she was going to come and stay and work for me.
Immediately.
Yes. So if I didn't insist on that test, she would have moved into my house and started to cook and probably infect me.
Hey.
Enough of this scary story.
God has saved us. So.
Let's talk about, share this power. Founder party tickets events, founder domestic reg, you have clients like Zenith Bank, you have... How did one person just decide, if I don't break all of this, that's not me. How does this, how do you feel? How did you arrive there? Share it. Let's see. Let's inspire someone watching.
Not been easy. Like I said, coming back here, got into the corporate world again. I said, learn the terrain. And I think my life has just gone in a way where everything I do has dominoed to where I am today. I've always believed, like I said, in doing what I'm passionate about. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I love event management. So like I said, it's not a job. So even though I was HR, I did HR director for a while in the corporate world here. But then I was an HR director, sorry. But I just realized that even with that, I would still plan people's... You tell me I'm having something, I'm like, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? I'm already thinking, And I realized that this is really what I'd like to do.
It's your
and
passion.
And this dominoes into, even at events, we use staff all the time. And they come and they walk by you and the entire room starts to...
Oh, God.
There you
go.
go.
God, yeah.
They walk by you and you're thinking.
Start smelling.
Oh, like,
Yeah, so it's part of it.
In fact, me, I get sick.
My guest room, actually, we had to do serious overhaul because for any time I pass through that place, there's this.
Yeah.
I have bought deodorant, I bought the spray one, the used one, everything, but it never leaves. Thankfully, she went home for Christmas and didn't come back. So my room is clean now.
So your room is clean.
So you were talking during the break about the fact that we must be wary. Because when people go home for Christmas and they want to come back, that timing is always not the best time to get. When is the best time do you think it's good to get to domestic staff in the house?
It's good to start looking. I'm not going to, honestly, in January, some of them come back, but now, because these girls go home. They go home and they don't want to come back. There's many reasons. They either don't want to come back to you, they want more money, or this one, they just want to change their location. Or they meet a man and they get married.
Yeah.
So most times, or they stay till they spend all the money they've made all year. And that's usually February, end of February, March, you know. So there's varying situations. And then, so it's good to look, but regardless of when you look, you have to check. You have to vet. Who are they? Are they really who they say they are? That's the key thing.
But can there be a database? I would like to have a database of, of agencies, of verified agencies, because now everybody doesn't want to just go through, somebody said, bring somebody. Right. Let's go through an agent. But many of these, because I have had an agent that have helped me for years. But unfortunately, when I recently referred him to my aunt, he gave her somebody that he missed the mark. So he gave her somebody, like it was child trafficking from Ghana, it was so really, really, really messy. And I was really disappointed because it's somebody that we've used for years. And I could have almost vouched for this person. So how do we ensure that these agencies are properly registered? Which agency with Lagos State
is
registering these agencies? Or do the government even know they exist?
Most of them are ad hoc. Most of them are just, started. But what it is, I don't, right now, that's why I'm that middle person between the agent and the user, consumer. I'm that middle person. I'm not an agent. Right. I don't look for staff. Okay. Give me your person. Let me help you vet.
Verify.
And
check.
Yeah. Yes.
That's how you don't look for staff.
No, I don't look for staff. Bring me your staff. Let me vet and check for you. Let me be that. Let me make sure that it's thorough because these agents don't do what they say they do.
Okay, so how have you helped? Have you ever even had, an example of, a bad staff? Have you helped resolve any crime resulting from employing a staff?
Thankfully, no. What I've been doing now, what I am doing is I'm training. So people have had me come into their homes. Okay, I have staff. Help me train. So the chefs, etiquette, hospitality. Again, that leads back to my event management. So everything I do ties together. Hospitality, train, table setting. What is your job? How do you perform your duties? And then most of these people don't see it. They don't see it as a career. That's why. It's a means to an end. But if you start to explain to them, listen, this can be something you can do. I guess you're helping people, but if you're loving and you're a caregiver, do you like being around children? Yeah. You get on the floor and roll. If not, you're in the wrong job. You're in the wrong career path. But, and I also know people that have had domestics or staff, should I say, that have worked 23 years.
Yeah.
23, 24 years. They've raised their kids, they've built houses, and they've done everything, and they're in that job.
Our cook has been with us 27 years.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there are also some good people out there. It's good. I'm not going to say that they're all bad, which is why my database is for you to come and before you hire, see if she's been reported by somebody else as wanted.
What's a database for me to find out? So if I have a person now, how do I know that this person? I can come to you, you might have that access, but I wouldn't know where to go to see if this person has been convicted of a crime, or how do I know
That's what I'm doing. Yeah. That's what I'm doing for you. And while I'm doing this, I'm creating a database. So every time you go on my website and you do a search, I'm collating that database for you. So if anybody else comes, I can say she's been flagged or she's great.
Right.
I'm also doing something on the other side where they can come and register themselves as well and say, okay, I'm a chef for 27 years, and I'm great at what I do, and I've been vetted and checked by us. And I'm a 5-star chef or 3-star housekeeper or nanny for 10 years. I'm experienced. And then you can then come and say, okay, I'm looking for someone. You meet and then you hire that person because she's been vetted and checked.
Fantastic. So where do you hope to see this in 10 years, next 5-10 years?
I would like it to be where anybody comes to you and you say, are you on domestic wage? Why not? If not, why not? What are you hiding? I'd like it to go where, because like I said, it's not It's kind of a community-wide thing for me. Like, how are we protecting ourselves? How do I know that the girl that left me that had hepatitis C is not who is working for you or who you're about to hire? Where do you check this? And so that's why I wanted to grow to nationwide.
Congratulations on the work you're doing. We like you when you might be interested in things.
Yeah.
And,
Thank you. That's the word.
that's all we can take on today's show. Hope you learned a few things. And tomorrow, hopefully, because I know Mike wanted us to talk about this ATM matter. People are fighting on the ATMs, and we have been affiliated in so many ways. Don't worry, we're gathering a bit more data so that we'll have a robust conversation about it. But please, get ready to share your experiences with us tomorrow. Have a great day. We'll see you.
Please, share your experience, so.
Affiliate.